In this video, I'll be covering why I for sure believe that we are going to be having a second wave of the coronavirus due to some of my findings on the internet, and why you should be prepared because we don't know what's going to happen with the stock market. Is it going to fall the same amount? Is it going to fall less? Or is it going to fall even more than what it did fall in March? So keep watching this video if you are interested in how the second wave of the coronavirus is going to affect your investments, affect your livelihood, and we'll see what happens, right? So let's go ahead and jump into it. All right, so first I just want to start off by saying that Dr. Fauci believes that the second wave of the coronavirus is not inevitable. And I don't see how the heck he is seeing this. He's saying, like, you know, depending on how we reopen, like if the United States reopens correctly, then we'll be fine. Now, this was published May 27th. I believe that was before all of these protests and group gatherings really started to ramp up. So maybe he didn't expect that, but in my opinion, I would not expect to think that big old protests and big group gatherings is opening correctly. To me, that seems like incorrectly. So I don't think that he is going to be accurate when he says that it's not inevitable. I do feel like it is inevitable with these massive group gatherings that we have. So just looking at the Johns Hopkins data, I look at this thing daily because it really gives me an idea of where we're pacing on a daily basis with the cases. So right now we have nearly 2 million cases. We're at the 2 million mark in the US, which is nuts because if you look at Brazil, Russia, United Kingdom, they're not even close to where we are. I don't know how we have just blown up. Maybe our data is more accurately being tracked, but we are like about to hit 2 million cases and 110 deaths. Now, if we pull up the actual daily gain on the cases, as you can see within the last 2 weeks, now remember that with the COVID, it takes about 14 days to actually kick in. So, 14 days ago, I think it was roughly like Memorial Day, we haven't yet gotten to the point where we're seeing data from the actual protests. I don't believe so. But as you can see here, we are starting to pick up with our actually daily cases. You know, we bottomed out roughly 18,000 new cases a day. Now we're really getting into like the lower 20,000s new cases per day. So I really can't see it just all of a sudden slowing down and just going down to the downside. So that's what Johns Hopkins shows. Gottlieb is a guy that is saying that we are going to be having more cases for sure. So let's listen to real quick to what he has to say about it.
In terms of a second wave? Well, I think this is going to come back into fall in some fashion. Whether or not it comes back in an epidemic fashion is going to be dependent upon what we do. Whether or not we have the screening in place, whether or not people are still practicing good technique to try to avoid infection, whether or not we have good track and trace in place where we're tracking down people who are sick and getting their close contacts and offering them testing and trying to get people into isolation. It's all going to depend on that public health work, but it's going to come back in the fall. This is a virus that's highly contagious.
All right, so he's for sure saying it's going to come back in fall. Let me just show you what happened with the Spanish flu and the H1N1 virus. So the Spanish flu, I think it had 3 waves. Yeah, it says it right here. In 3 waves, 500 million people were affected. That's an insane number. Now, obviously, that was back in 1918. We didn't have the technology that we have today, so I'm not even saying that the second wave is going to be like it was with the Spanish flu, but the Spanish flu did have a second wave, and most of the fatalities happened within the Spanish flu, within the second wave, so it was even worse, right? So I don't know if this coronavirus second wave is going to be bigger or if it's going to be the same size or smaller. I'm kind of leaning more towards it potentially being bigger because when you think about where we were, let's just go back to the daily cases. And, we went into quarantine and lockdown in like mid-March. So if we go to the table here, that was when we were at around let's just say 40,000 cases, 20,000 cases. I mean, we were lower than 50,000 cases and the government went into lockdown, right? Then we blew up and now we're at 2 million cases. Right now, we have like active cases that are happening right now. Let's just say we've got a couple 100,000. I don't really know. Nobody really knows accurately. Let's just say we've got more cases right now than we did when we went into lockdown. Now we're not in lockdown and people are doing these massive group gatherings across the nation, across the world, really. We still have the virus out there. So it's like, how is it not going to be worse than the first wave, right? It just doesn't make any sense. So that was the Spanish flu. The H1N1, the second wave of the H1N1 was substantially greater than the first, with 4.8 times more hospital admissions, 4.6 times more deaths. So, I mean, maybe we'll be more prepared for this second wave because we already had a little bit of a heads up. I hope that the government is preparing for the second wave. I think people will be more prepared. But regarding the stock market, are people going to pull out even quicker? Like, is it going to fall faster? Because right now we have a lot of first-time newbie investors that are just buying it because it's going up and up and up and up and doesn't seem like it has any kind of end in sight because the unlimited Federal Reserve, Jay Powell and his printing press. I love when I see people say Jay Powell and his printing press. It's just so funny to me. I literally think of like a guy with a machine and he's just like going crazy, just printing out money. So does he have unlimited funds? Is the government willing to unlimitedly invest money into supporting the market and pushing it up and up and up? Or are they going to eventually say, look, we got to protect ourselves. We can't just keep adding to a loser. And are they going to stop, throwing money at stimulus and, it's all just fake, right? And especially when the second wave, are we going to have enough money to, I don't know. We will see. We will see. But the second wave could be worse. It was worse with the H1N1. It was worse with the Spanish flu. Leads me to believe that it will potentially be worse with the coronavirus. But we got more technology, right? But we got big group gatherings, and we shall see what happens. Gottlieb seems to believe that we are for sure going to happen. So as states reopen and protests rage, the coronavirus lays the foundation for a nasty second wave of infections this fall. Now, a lot of these are CNBC articles. I really do believe CNBC is on their game when it comes to this kind of data. So, I'm going with them, what they're saying. It's heartbreaking on a number of levels for sure that the infectious diseases and epidemiology levels, I mean, it's crazy. It's craziness. So expect a second wave of COVID-19 in the fall. Former FDA chief Gottlieb is saying this dude is all about. So it's like, what do we do now that we for sure are thinking that the second wave is going to happen? What do we actually do to prepare ourselves? Me personally, I would say as far as market is concerned and your money, pull that out of the market. I mean, if the market is already artificially inflated, it's way up high on what I believe is fake news. And so do you want to gamble? I believe that because we have so much fake money or first-time money or quick, retail investors in it, the second that it starts to come down, they're pulling right out, which is going to make an even further and faster fall, making the second fall potentially bigger than the first fall, unless Jay Powell and his printing press go there to support it and pour another $10 trillion into supporting this massive wave. I really do believe we just need to let the thing naturally fall out, and then maybe they pick it up if we get to absurdly low. But honestly, I think that because of this retail, all these investors, I do believe that retail, hedge funds, the big guys, I don't believe we need the government assistance as far as the market is concerned. I think the government assistance with like helicopter money, paying people, even though they're saying that a lot of that helicopter money just went into savings accounts and it's not actually stimulating. But if it went into savings accounts, then maybe that means that people are having money to pay off their rent, pay for their food. Are we gonna see another massive round of jobs just being cut out middle or end of this year? Right now we're at 16% unemployment. They did say that we were around like 20% in April. The numbers are all over the place. They're all fudged and everything is inaccurate, but I don't know. Protect yourself. Just a heads up. Know that the second wave will for sure happen. I'd be willing to bet money, big money, on the second wave for sure happening. Whether it's going to be smaller, the same size, or bigger, who knows? I potentially think it's going to be bigger. If you got value from this video, thank you for watching, and hit the thumbs up button, smash it, as they say, destroy the like button. Everybody's talking about obliterating the like button, so obliterate it. Leave a comment below if you want to chat it up. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think a second wave is coming? Do you think it's going to be smaller, the same size, or bigger? And when do you think we will really see it? And what do you think that's going to do to the markets? Do you think Jay Powell and the printing press is going to hold us up like they did the first time. So thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.